And we're live.
Hey,
Yo, welcome back.
swapped John out for me
Yep, as we do. As
from
we
time
do.
to time. Yeah, that's how it usually goes. Yep.
How it goes, yep.
So
So
yeah, no
you're
John this time because of the early recording. But for those hanging around for the Metroid episode after this, John will be back for that.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I was away. I was away for 2 weeks.
yeah,
Not
how
2 weeks.
well, it feels like it, but how's it been? What have you been doing in that time?
I've been busy, man. I did GDC. I
Yep.
did PAX East. I did Boston.
Yeah, I forgot about PAX East actually. I knew
Really?
GDC.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I did more PAX East than I did GDC,
Right, yeah.
and it was actually funny because like GDC has like some like satellite events around it before the floor opens up, and my flight to go to Boston was kind of afternoon time Wednesday, and so I do something like Monday night. I went to this event called the Mix that has a bunch of like indie games and stuff there, and that was a lot of fun. I went. I had like a Nintendo appointment on Tuesday, and they had a few game demos in this like separate hotel area.
Okay. Yep.
And then I'm like, cool. I'll go do some expo floor on Tuesday as well. And then I find out the expo doesn't open up. The expo floor doesn't open up until Wednesday, the day I'm flying out. And I was like, oh no. I was I was hoping to have like a chill Wednesday morning just at home, and then eventually make my way over to the airport. But no, I had to go into the city and go to the expo and try and cram in the expo floor in like 2 hours.
Oh man.
Um, but it was fine. It worked out. So I got to go there still.
Yeah. Still had fun either way.
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah. GDC is a cool time. It's back to being the same size it used to be, just absolutely huge. I was
Cool.
bummed. I did get an invite to the GDC Awards, but they take place Wednesday night.
Right.
So I was already in Boston. So hey, next year, I'll hopefully if I get an invite again.
Yeah.
And then PAX was cool. First time I went to Boston. Um, Weather wasn't terrible. I was actually hoping it wouldn't be raining because in California here we've had just the craziest amount of rain ever.
Right.
And it did rain when I was in Boston. In fact, it hailed at one point.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Um, the PAX East is cool. I'll get more into like the specifics when we talk about what we're playing. I also took a day trip and went to Salem
Yeah. Okay.
to look at some witch stuff.
Uh huh.
Um, and that was cool. Like every second store in the like downtowny tourist area right off the train is like witch or Halloween or goofy magic themed.
Yeah. I assume they probably leaned extremely hard into that sort of thing.
They do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like their nickname is Witch City.
Sure.
They absolutely lean into it. I also hear that like Salem, Massachusetts, around Halloween time, they go all out. Like it's definitely something to go check out.
That yeah.
Um,
That would be cool. Yeah.
it would be cool, yeah, absolutely for sure. So, but it was still cool to do it like off season. There are still plenty of tourists there just for witch stuff. You go look at some of like the old houses and cemeteries and whatnot, and then yeah, you buy some kitschy witch stuff and whatnot. I went to a horror movie themed wax museum.
Oh okay. Yeah.
So they have like Chucky's there, an alien's there, a predator's there, Dracula's there, just like a whole bunch. Wolfman, the mummy's there, just a bunch,
Vincent
like
Price
from
probably. Like
maybe I don't know what that is.
Vincent Price. Oh okay.
Vincent Price.
He did a whole bunch of horror movies. I mean, his most popular stuff was probably House on Haunted Hill, the original.
I mean,
Um.
they did have some like directors, but most of the the wax sculptures or like the figures were like horror monsters.
Well, I mean, he was also in House of Wax. Like I don't know. It seems like that he was probably there. Little mustache,
Okay.
almost looks like Dolly, but like less Dolly.
Maybe it
Yeah,
didn't stick out to me because I didn't recognize it, but
fair. Yeah,
um, yeah, so that was cool too. Yeah, they definitely lean into the spooky horror thing.
cool.
Um, there's even like a bewitched statue in like the main square, like of I forgot the actress's name, but her as the witch is there. So yeah, it
Okay.
was cool. Boston was cool. Trying to think any like highlights from Boston. I did the like Freedom Trail, which is all the like Thomas Jefferson era like important buildings.
Mm-hmm.
I got a really cheap and great banh mi sandwich.
Okay,
I was pretty
that's good.
excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, had some lobster just because I
Okay.
was in the area for it.
I
I was
do
trying to
like
think. What was
lobster.
I was like, I'm not a huge lobster fan. Especially I'm not interested in the like. I'm gonna break off the tail and use the little clipper things to scoop it out. I don't want to do that at all. So I got some lobster ravioli,
Okay. Cool.
which is pretty tasty.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Forgot what I said. But what else is going on there? There's a hockey game going on. It was the Boston team versus Montreal's team.
The Bruins against the
Uh,
Canadians or the Habs. Yep.
yeah, so I saw some people in Canadiens jerseys, and I was like, "Oh hey!" And I like texted my dad. I'm like, "Is there a game between these two happening right now? Because I'm seeing a lot of jerseys." And he was like, "Yep."
Makes sense. Yep.
Um, it was a good time. Their public transportation is fantastic, especially compared to San Francisco's, which is the worst thing I've ever experienced.
Sure.
Almost. So
Sure. Yeah. It's funny because
no,
like I feel like a lot of people say that about their city, but I will say as somebody who visited San Francisco and like used BART maybe twice, it was bad each time. So like
it's awful, and it doesn't go anywhere. And like
yeah,
Boston's goes everywhere. Like it is a
right.
spider web of like you can get at any point I wanted to go. It's like, oh cool, I can take this and I can transfer once or twice. Done. BART is like, well, you can go left or right. Oh, you want to go up? You want to go to like the Golden Gate Park? Nope.
Yeah.
Nah. Nope. Nope.
Yeah, and Boston's like right in the middle of all like you can get to New York if you want to take a day trip down to Pennsylvania. Like you can the air transit in that area is just fantastic in general to get
Yeah.
from state to state even.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. I was trying to remember what was like the last time I had seen the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
It must have been like my New York trip back when I was like a teenager. So it's been a long time since I've been on the East Coast.
Cool. Nice.
But yeah, yeah. I guess I've probably seen the Atlantic Ocean from the other side. Now that I think about it, when I was over in London, France.
No.
Anyway, how's your last couple weeks been?
They've just been so crazy busy. Like at any time I'm not well, oh, I was sick for one of the weeks. The first week you were gone or whatever, like up until
Again? Because you had like just gotten over being sick.
well, so I got sick after the last podcast you were on. I had a cold for about 5 days. That was pretty bad, and then it kind of got better by the next time we did the podcast, me and John. So that week was completely shot, and then this last week has been just crazy amounts of dumb stuff to do at work, and then coming home and playing a game every night. So, which we'll talk about pretty soon. But yeah, it's been hectic in a bad way, not a good way.
Okay. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I've been extra lucky because since my mom's been visiting, she's just making great dinners every night for me.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, it's super great. And she keeps making like leftovers. So the next day for lunch, it's like, oh, sweet. Look at all this.
That's really good.
Okay. Hey, this is the top down perspective for March 30th. I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
And a couple bit of housekeeping off the top. Like we mentioned, our Metroid Prime remastered episode of TDP Plus is going to be happening after this. So if you're part of those tiers, you can watch it live. Otherwise, you can listen to the archive tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
April's TDP Plus has been decided, and that is going to be Pizza Tower.
It kind of wasn't close even, right? I peeked in at the poll.
My vote, my submission of Romancevania.
Yeah.
It was in the running
It was
for a
close.
bit, but then near the second half of the week, Pizza Tower just kind of took over.
I get it. Pizza Tower is a wild ride, so it makes sense.
Yeah. And there was a bit of a miscommunication on our part because I had put that poll up late because last week was so crazy for me. So those who submitted late, and did not get their submissions in the poll for April, we will push those forward into May's poll. And you're welcome to submit a game for May as well, so you can have 2 in there if you want. That might split the vote. I'm just saying, like, you know,
Yeah.
be where if you don't have a game for May and you just want to stick with your April one, you don't have to comment. We'll be switching it over automatically. Or if you don't want your April game to be switched over, just mention that when you submit your May game, and we'll put just that one in there. But we want to make sure that those submissions do get counted for
Right.
in a poll at some point. So,
Right.
yeah. Okay, so you teased it, but Paul, what have you been playing?
Resident Evil 4 remake came out, so I've been just going kind of hard in that. I guess as hard as I can, with also having to deal with real life stuff.
Sure.
Which is unfortunate. I'm sure I've talked about RE4 before, and how, like, even though
Yes,
a lot of people really think it's beloved and stuff, it's kind of not one of my favorite games, the original. And then I kind of got more of an appreciation of that game with VR and kind of the small changes they made to modernize the controls. Kind of the same thing here. The remake modernizes it even further, mixes things up in kind of a way that makes a little more sense, in a more, like, down-to-earth setting on how this map works and stuff like that. And all that stuff is great. It plays better because, of course, it does. It's a game that came out this year and not, like, 15 years ago or whatever. But I think at the core of everything, it is still just going into an area and shooting a million dudes and then moving on to the next one. So you kind of have to be bought into that, which most people definitely are. And I'm more bought into it here because the combat is more fluid. You can move around better. You have better aim, specifically because I'm using keyboard and mouse, and that's kind of my preferred way of doing it. You have like a parry system with your knives that to kind of offset how much more aggressive the enemies are and stuff. Like, everything about it are just smart decisions of releasing that game in 2023 for a new audience and old audiences alike. And I think it's very, very good. However, it's still, I wouldn't say it blew my socks off in like anything new that it does, because of course it doesn't. It's a remake. It's not a new game. I had a good time with it. I've only done my first playthrough so far, so I got to go back and do professional mode at some time because that's unlocked now. I think the characters are better. I think that story is a little more fleshed out properly without just adding random shit in there. Arguably one of the problems I have with it, if any, is they feel less... all of the characters feel like they have less bombastic, like, silly, tropey character traits as the first one. And that's, like, kind of a minus for me, because I think one of the things I liked about that first one was that the banter and the dialogue and stuff was just so goofy and silly that it's like a just fun action thing. And this is definitely much more grounded and more generic in a lot of the writing and stuff like that. So yeah, take that as you will. I definitely think if you like the original game, you should probably check this one out, though. It's very well made.
Sure.
Yeah, very well made.
Do you feel like it replaces the original?
No, there's definitely... The original has kind of a charisma and feel all its own that you could definitely go back to it and just be like, oh, right, this is weird and janky in a way that's kind of, like, fun, and that is completely different. Also, there's some parts that are missing from the original in the remake that I guess just wouldn't translate well, or make the pacing feel off. So there's reasons to play the original for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things my friend, who's also a big Resident Evil fan, and he's playing, I think he's played through 4 remake twice already now. He was saying he hopes this doesn't mean they will stop porting original 4 to new platforms.
Sure.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you think they would keep doing that? Or is this just going to be the default now?
I kind of think this is going to be the default just because they didn't keep porting the other games. either. Like, they even stopped porting Resident Evil 1 a remake, and there's been talks that they're going to remake that again. So if anything, they might just remake 4 again before they port it over. But I don't know. That port is probably like solved now, where they could just put it on any system that comes in the future and sell it for free money, because like it's all ready to go. Because that thing's on everything. That's like the Skyrim for horror games.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Steam review came across my Twitter, just kind of with a bunch of stuff they had cut. I was hoping maybe, if I kind of list some of them off, you'll kind of give me why you think it should be cut. Maybe
Okay.
they shouldn't have. Okay. No Ashley saying "Ugh, you pervert."
Ashley in this is definitely, well, okay, all of the characters are definitely less thirsty in general, so there's no reason why she would say that, really.
Okay. How about there's no animation of Ashley covering her skirt when you try to look up it and see her panties?
Right, she doesn't wear a skirt, that's why. She wears skirts.
Okay. How about no being able to freely stare at Ashley's panties from the bottom of a high enough ladder?
Again, she's wearing skirts, so you couldn't anyway.
Oh, okay. All right. No getting an accidental Ashley upskirt dialogue when performing a suplex on an enemy.
Same reason. They just got rid of
no
the
quick
skirt thing.
half a second slip of Ashley's panties during the cutscene where she and Leon leap through the church.
Sure, same reason. Yep. They fixed a lot of this problem by just not having her in a skirt, honestly.
No aiming a knife or grenade towards the sky in certain areas to lower the camera at a low angle to catch a glimpse of Ashley's panties.
I mean, if it was a skirt, you probably still could, but it's not, so you can't. That's true.
No swift peek of Ashley's panties as she exits the dumpster that she was hiding inside of.
She doesn't hide in a dumpster at all in this. The most that you can do is tell her to hide in a locker so that she doesn't get murdered by some absolutely terrible enemies you have to face at that point.
No cheeky between legs shot of her panties when she falls flat on her butt when recoiling from the knight statue's attack. That seems pretty bad.
I don't remember if she recoils at that part. Is fucked up in this game. It's really creepy. I don't remember if she actually recoils in that part at all and falls on the ground at all.
That's about half of the complaints this person has, but they are all about the panties.
I mean, that's fair. That's why that original exists. Yo, you can go buy that. You can go play that if that's what you want. That exists. Ashley in this is a way better character, less annoying, very helpful. Yeah, she's cool. I kind of fucking hate Ashley in the original. She is super annoying and like the worst escort damsel in distress trope ever in video games. But she's pretty dope in this, so that's a good change, I felt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want them to do 5?
No. I kind of don't. I just want them to do like new stuff. Like stuff.
So you want 9?
I want 9. Yeah, I just want 9.
Do you think they'll do 5?
So listen, the way this ends with kind of like a cliffhanger type thing and an after credit scene, they definitely
new,
could. Right? Yes. And they could tie it in better.
So what you're saying is like if they could do 5, they and then why not 6? And then by the time they get to 7, it'll be old enough you could remake it.
Right. I mean, at this
7
point,
is like if they at this rate, 7 is probably like 5 years off before they would probably do a remake of that one at most, maybe.
I would be interested
at that point, you're looking at a decade-old game.
I would be interested in them taking a crack at like making 5 and 6 maybe tighter packages.
Good. Okay.
Well, 5 is okay. Both of them are okay because they're predicated around the idea that you're playing with a friend, which kind of makes everything better.
Sure.
But like, I would be interested in seeing them do like tighter gameplay and story beats for like single player in those games or something. I think that could be interesting. But yeah, I also just hope they do new stuff because that's what I want.
All right, I want you to make a prediction right now.
Okay.
And maybe we'll remember it. Maybe someone in chat will remember it.
Chad always remembers.
They've announced Resident Evil 6 remake.
Okay.
We get the first trailer. Is the logo on the box different?
Yeah, it absolutely is. So all of these logos are literally the same font and with the R and E in red and the rest in white. Like all of these new remake logos look the exact same to the point where it's kind of boring. So it absolutely looks just like those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think they try and sneak in a reference to the old logo?
My heart wants to say yes, but realistically, no.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way.
No.
There's no way.
I would love it, but yeah, no.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I've asked all the important questions, so.
Yeah, there's nothing else to talk about with Resident Evil 4. Yeah, that game is good, and people should check it out. If you're so inclined at all, you probably have already, so I'm just preaching to the choir, but yeah, it's good. The other game quickly that I kind of teased a little bit last week because I was playing in the closed beta. I got that KFC order to get in early.
Oh God, was that in Canada as well?
No, okay, listen.
What?
I might have used a VPN to order KFC in Seattle.
Did you order some just random person? You just bestowed a double down on them?
No. This is much worse. I ordered it and then canceled the order after I got the code.
Oh man, I bet lots of people did that. I'm surprised you could even do that. Did you still have to pay?
No, because you order it for pickup, and then like they don't charge you until you go there
at the pickup.
Yeah.
So there's just a cold double down somewhere?
No, because I canceled the order like before they made it or whatever, right? Because when you place the order or whatever, it sends you an email the next couple minutes, and then after I put that code through and installed the game, I canceled the order.
Hey, that shouldn't be able to work. You should have to pay to get that code. That's the whole point. Like, because hearing that works, like now I'm wondering if there's all these illegitimate people playing the 4 beta early.
Listen, it's not going to work ever again because I'm sure many people did it. But
that's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I teased a little bit of it last week. I didn't really have any strong opinions yet. I played a bit more of it, and I definitely just think that melee in this game feels bad, which is kind of too bad. And it's not even because the actual, like, you playing as a character that runs up and hits things is necessarily bad. It's that every major enemy in this game has something to either get away from you so that you feel like you're always running after it, or putting down like poison or toxic clouds and then standing in it so that you have to be just killing yourself to be able to stand there and do damage to it, or a combination of both. And that really, really sucks. I started off with the Barbarian, which is kind of my favorite. I like melee classes in Diablo games. I like the Paladin specifically. That's not in here, so Barbarian is my second choice. And Barbarian feels like the way that class works is not great for the first 25 levels. It feels like one of those classes that like is on par with the others at the end game because of just how functionally it works. It's like Barbarian is a master of arms, so you are able to hold, what is it, 4? You have like 4 or 5 slots for weapons in your inventory, and like you switch between them depending on what skills and setup you have. So in the end game, what that means is that you would have all of those extra slots for like legendary things that give you stats and stuff like that. But in the beta, what it means is that you have like just a few, you have like +5 more numbers in each slot, but it doesn't matter because a sorceress or a sorcerer can run by and one-shot the whole screen, and like you feel bad about it. Like everything about the Barbarian to me felt bad, and then I felt bad about it. I played the Druid a little bit. Druid felt a little bit better, but also not in a spot that I felt really comfortable with or good with. And then I was starting to play the Necromancer, but I was having weird like issues where my video card wasn't working well with the game in some spots, and I was getting desyncs, and then having a bunch of skeleton army dudes around was making it worse, and I just got pissed off about it, even though The necromancer seemed like super fun in this. And then sorcerers, I didn't play one, but I saw a bunch in the world because this is kind of like an open world thing where other people are doing things in the same area as you. And it was just frustrating because every time they would walk by, they would just literally cast one spell and kill everything and get all their mana back from running around, where I was having to like take hits or hit things and like use all of my resource, I guess energy or whatever the hell it is for a barbarian. And like, I felt like I was getting weaker as I was attacking stuff, and like every other class was getting stronger as they were attacking stuff, so it just felt bad. I don't know. It's weird because the game mechanically is definitely the best that these games have ever been. I hear that controller support for this game is like awesome, to the point where people on PC...
It's the same with 3.
Well, even people on PC are saying like, oh yeah, this feels like really good and stuff, which is kind of cool that like everybody's kind of getting on that train.
The dodge roll from 3 is back.
Yeah.
Was the dodge roll on the PC version of 3? Or is that just a console thing?
I don't remember it being in 3, but it's been a long time since I played 3 at this point.
Okay. Well, because you probably played it on PC, right?
I did, yeah.
So maybe it was just a console thing, because it was there on console. That's where I played it, so.
Yeah, it very well could have been. So if you liked that on console or whatever, apparently this is just going to be more of that, but you know, better because newer systems and stuff and whatever. I think that game is in a good place, and I'm excited to see the final product. I just wish that the class I liked felt good in the beta, and it made me a little bit bummed out about it. Maybe I just have to play a different class and see how that feels. Yeah, Diablo 4 seems cool, and it has crossplay apparently, which is great, because why wouldn't everything be? It's weird that we're in 2023 and just like, oh yeah, like you could play on your Xbox and I could play with you on my PC. It's like, yeah, that should just be the thing that happens, but it isn't.
Yeah, not everywhere. Nope.
Yeah. That's all.
I'm not surprised with Blizzard, because like Overwatch is crossplay. So.
Yeah. I guess there were a bunch of like weird people logging in issues and game crashing things as well. I didn't have a lot of those because my schedule makes it so that I'm home and playing games pretty late at night, like where most of North America is sleeping on like regular work and school schedule. So I didn't have as many problems there. I definitely did have some optimization issues, and I'm guessing that's just because when I played, mostly during the closed beta, there wasn't a graphic card optimization for it out yet. Yeah, I don't know. Also, I heard that on the Xbox. Actually, I was talking with Nathan a little bit, and he played it on his Xbox, his Series S. And apparently, it
did he do the same thing, or did he play the open beta?
He did the open beta.
Okay,
and it apparently worked great for him. Like, so if you have a console and wanted to check that out, that's a great way to do it. That's it. That's all I've been doing.
Is it still going, or was it just on the weekend?
It ended last on the 26th, so it is over currently.
It's done. Yeah.
That's all for me.
I'm playing a game that I first played at GDC, and then the person was like, "Hey, do you want a code?" And I was like, "Absolutely, I want a code." I'm playing Have a Nice Death.
Okay. Yep.
I'm playing it on the Switch. Normally, I would have preferred to play it the Steam version with my Steam Deck, but I didn't bring my Steam Deck to Boston, and I knew I was bringing my Switch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing that version. The Switch version does have like some long loads, and it gets pretty framey when a stage is loading, but when you're in the stage playing, it's totally fine. So Have a Nice Death is basically like a Dead Cells.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Roguelite, side-scrolling, action platformer.
I thought this came out last year, but these dates are saying recently.
Yeah, it came out on the 22nd. So I'm not sure what you're talking. Maybe it was in early access or something last year.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know if that's true, but
yeah, it could be.
Best thing about it, and I even said this to the developer, I was like, this feels great to like control. This character feels so fluid and fast and good. And I was like, I've been playing a bunch of Dead Cells because of the Castlevania DLC, so it's like making me think of that, and that's like it's a pretty good praise I'm giving you. And he's like, apparently one of the lead designers on Dead Cells was a consultant on this game, so that's not surprising.
Makes sense.
That it would make you think of Dead Cells.
Sure.
But like, yeah, any game that you can do like the dodge roll out of a jump, that's great. That's
Yep.
absolutely awesome. Love to see that. So yeah, great art style. You play as Death, or the Grim Reaper, and you're the CEO of like Death Incorporated, and your company has just like gone to shit while you've been like underneath paperwork for years. So you need to like slap your minions back into place, and those are like the bosses of each of the like biomes and whatnot. And there's tons of different weapons, there's tons of different biomes. It's roguelite, so you're gonna be playing through it every single time. One kind of unique mechanic that I do really like is the shop where you're like buying unlocks. Everything has a price, obviously, but by like killing X number of this character, or doing various like mini challenges, you will unlock discounts on that item. So it could start at like 800 gold, and you could get it down to like 5 gold if you do like 100% of the discount, which is pretty cool.
Cool.
I haven't seen that ever anywhere. But yeah, no, I'm liking it quite a bit. I've only made it to like the third biome so far, so I don't know how long the game is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like 20-minute runs, and the upgrades are like a skill tree and stuff. So I'm liking it quite a bit. Like, it's a pretty good roguelite. If you're looking for a roguelite, it's out. I would recommend it. That's Have a Nice Death.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some of the stuff I played at GDC and PAX. I played so much, and a lot of it kind of blurs together.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, the ones that come to mind are the ones that I like booked appointments for. I played Goodbye Volcano High at GDC.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. How was that?
I just played like the prologue, so like 15 minutes or so. Um, it's exactly what you think from the trailers. It is a visual novel, and there are rhythm games that are like short when the characters are like the band is like playing a song and stuff like that. And it's basically like a Leap Agent style or Grappa the Rappa style. Just hit the buttons
Gotcha.
when they like meet the circle.
Yeah.
But great art style. Voice acting was good. I think it'll kind of live and die by is the music enjoyable? But I
Okay.
mean, even then, there's a whole visual novel section, so the music could be bad, and I would probably still enjoy it. I'm looking forward to that game coming out.
Sure. Yeah.
At PAX, I took an appointment solely because I just needed to know what this game was,
Okay.
so I played 30 minutes of the Golem game.
The Golem game.
Gollum
Okay.
from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Uh-huh.
Right? Because what is that? How are they
Sure.
making a Gollum game?
It's a stealth
I,
action
I,
thing, right? I'm assuming.
it is a stealth action game that plays very similarly to like a bad Prince of Persia.
Okay.
Like, there is a
I could
lot
see
of
it.
like wall running and like climbing up the wall, and the walls are like very clearly marked. Like, now you can climb up this part and then walk down this corridor and wall run along this hole, and then you can walk up this part and then jump back onto the pole and climb up it. Like, nothing is like hidden. It's not nothing's like, can I go up this wall? It is clearly like, oh, this is the climbable wall. I will go up this part now. Like, it really makes you think of Prince of Persia, because back then it was also like, okay, which wall has like the scratch marks? Okay, that's the one I run up. And it was almost like a quick time event in terms of like, well, I know I need to wall run, and then I just need to jump across it, and then I need to slide down a little bit, and then I need to like, shimmy across it. It's kind of that. And then every now and then it's like, oh, don't let the guard see you. Sit in the grass, wait until the guard turns around, walk over to the other grass, and you can like pick up rocks and like distract them.
Hmm.
Um, Gollum has detective vision.
Of
You
course
can
he
like see
does.
through walls.
Uh-huh.
'Cause I guess so.
Yep.
It's a weird game. Like,
Is it fun? Like, did it feel good to play?
it felt good enough. Like, it didn't feel
Okay.
bad.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of the thing about this. It seems like the most like middle of the road game. And
Yeah.
my question is, who's asking for this?
Yeah. Like, I'm
Like,
definitely not.
have you met anyone who is excited about the Gollum game?
I'm sure there's somebody, but I'm
Really?
also
Are
I'm
you actually sure, or are you just
well,
saying law of odds?
no, there probably is, but I also don't associate with people that like hate Rings of Power, for example. I'm not fans with like giant Tolkien nerds who are so obsessed with stuff that they're like crazy.
Do you really think like even if you're like a huge Tolkien nerd, you're excited for the Gollum like stealth action game?
There has to be somebody, right? There has to be
I
somebody
don't.
they had in
I
mind.
mean, law of odds, there has to be somebody.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just having a hard time picturing that person. Like,
Yeah, me too.
what series of life experiences and video games did you go through to end up being like, I gotta pre-order this thing?
Yeah, I don't know. That person definitely needs a hug though, and like a friend or something.
Yeah. I think it'll be totally serviceable, but like,
Sure.
I just could not imagine prioritizing this game over like anything else. Like, I would have to be starving for video games almost.
So it comes out the last week of May. I mean, yo,
Oh God!
if you wait a week,
Holy
you
smokes!
have all of the best games in the world in the year coming out in like a
Well,
week
no,
after this.
even May. May is Zelda. Isn't Diablo also May?
No, that's June 2nd or something.
Okay, Final Fantasy 16 is May.
That is no. It's fine. You're thinking June. These are all June games, except I don't remember Zelda. That might be May.
Zelda's definitely May.
What do you remember? When is it? The start of May? No, it's halfway through May.
I think it's like the 14th or something.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
it's something like that. The System Shock remake is like 5 days after Gollum. There's so many other things you could play.
In the chat, 12th of May for Zelda. Yeah, the idea of
Okay.
just like putting it in the middle, like it reminds me of like when Titanfall came out between Call of Duty and Battlefield, back when Battlefield was like actually a heavy hitter, and it's like, why would you do this to that?
I love it because yeah, May 25th, like you said, like we said here, the first week of June is Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4, and then a couple weeks after that is Final Fantasy 16. Like,
Yeah, like if you're like, 15-year-old kid, you have enough money to like pre-order a game, and this game's gonna last you through the summer. Who picks Gollum?
there I think Gollum will be that game that a lot of people on the like Christmas Steam sale get for $10 and are like, yeah, this is okay for $10. I'm glad I waited.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who
Like
buys this.
I like Prince of Persia, so there was definitely parts of here where it's like I like running up a wall. I like coming across a hole and having to run along the side of the wall
Uh-huh.
to avoid the hole. That's it sets off nice things in my head.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't want to do this stealth.
Yeah.
This doesn't even like look that great.
I was gonna
Listening to
ask.
that much also like Gollum isn't great to listen to. Like
Sure.
he's a so it's like a whole game of Gollum's voice where he's like arguing with Smeagol. I don't know. Gandalf is there.
Okay. Gandalf is sweet.
So there's some
He's dope.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, this is you. The whole game is the whole like narrative part is Gollum is like telling a story to Gandalf. So there's
Oh.
kind of like narration going on.
Can I play the game where
It's
I play
not Andy
Gandalf?
Serkis.
Because that seems
Yeah,
fun.
there you go. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I don't know.
What else did I take appointments for? That one definitely stuck out to me. I thought I took. Hang on, I should have them in my notes app.
Yeah, do you have like
Pull this
an
up real
email
quick.
confirmations or something?
Some of this stuff I can't talk about.
Oh, okay. Is Gollum one of them? They're like, please don't talk about Gollum.
No, that was on the show floor.
Okay.
I took a thing with Nintendo. Let me quickly look up the NDA so I can talk about any of that stuff. It's not Zelda, I'll say that.
I was gonna say a thing with Nintendo, huh?
Come on.
Fair enough.
Embargo date. God, so much like legalese.
Yeah.
Give me a date. Okay, I can talk about that. This was good up a week ago.
Okay.
I played Return of Risk of Rain Returns.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Which I was very excited to get a chance to play that. It is just the first Risk of Rain again. They have just put like everything you liked from Risk of Rain 2, like all of the new additions in there. They have full supported online multiplayer, as you would expect, because Risk of Rain 2 has that.
Yeah.
But I definitely had to be like, yeah, me and my friends, we had to like put like a virus on our computer, and it was like impossible to get off the machine. And they
We
were
had to
like,
use
yeah, we
Parsec,
know.
I think, back then.
No, Hamachi.
Himachi. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
And I remember it was like I could not remove it. No matter how I tried to uninstall it, it was just like, nah, I'm gonna stay here, man. And it's like, okay, you're the boss, Hamachi.
Oh shit, does this mean the Risk of Rain daily challenge is coming back on twitch.tv?
Oh man.
We
Who
could do
knows?
that again.
But you can absolutely do it. It's coming just PC and Switch at first. No crossplay. That's what came into my head when you mentioned
Bummer.
not all games have it. Um,
Oh, I mean, you have a
really cool
Steam Deck
feature.
now, so you get Steam games all the time, so that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. When your like co-op partner, if one of them dies, they turn into a turret with that free flies around and can shoot stuff.
Oh, that's cute. That's a good idea.
So you actually have something to do while you like wait for your friends to finish the stage, as opposed to just watch.
Yeah, I was going to say, for anybody
which-
who doesn't know, you know what you used to do? You used to watch your friend have fun and then die eventually because it was too overwhelming for them.
Yeah, you have to just hope that they survived. Yeah, so now you can help out a little bit, which is nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, new stages, obviously. All the old stages are there. Also, like kind of remixed versions of the old stages. Brand new soundtrack, but it's made in the same style as the old soundtrack. They brought the same composer back, which is good because I was like, man, that soundtrack was so good. And they're like, well, here's more of that soundtrack for you.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you didn't have to do much to win me over, but I'm extremely excited now. I'm one of the few people that like. I still think I like Risk of Rain 1 more just because I played so much more of it and it felt more comfortable in the end, even though 2 like was objectively better.
I don't know if I would say like I like they're like different enough. Like they kind of scratch different itches for me. So
they are true.
Yeah. So yeah, that was GDC. The ones on PAX. I played Turnip Boy Robs a Bank.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
This seems to be like less story focused and more just like you're gonna keep robbing banks, and you're gonna get new weapons and stuff, which they'll give you like different. Like you'll come into a bank and it's like, hey, can you break into the safe? No, you don't have that thing yet. So just try and get as much money, and you can just go up to NPCs and shake them down, which means Turnip Boy picks them up and just shakes them.
Yeah,
and makes the money come out of them.
Makes sense.
Turnip Boy seems to be way more of like a villain than I remember. In commits tax evasion, I thought he kind of just Mr. Magoo'd his way through the scenario, and then you like fought God, kind of.
Sure.
This one seems like Turnip Boy has a lot more agency in wanting to do crime.
That's how it starts. First, you don't pay your taxes, and then you're robbing banks and literally shaking people. Banks.
Literally shaking them down, yeah. So it seems good. It seems like it has the same funny writing.
Cool.
So that was, that seems like good. I played Dead Island 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, how was that?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. It seems like it's kind of going kind of like a Dead Rising 3 or 4 style of like, we're going to give you just some like wacky combo weapons.
Oh, okay.
Because when I like loaded into it, I had like a fire axe that had like, I don't know if it had flamethrowers on it or if it had like rockets on it so that it would swing faster, but I know that when I was hitting people, they would also light on fire.
Okay. That, I mean, it's refreshing to hear.
Wolverine claws.
Okay, that's pretty good.
What else did I can't remember what else I had. I had a katana, but that wasn't like super special or anything. But no, I thought it looked good. I ended up fighting like a creepy clown zombie, which was pretty fucked up. Yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of one stage I got to play through. And I died so many times because there was no like tutorial on how to play it. So I didn't know there was a dodge. So I had a really hard time with the boss until I realized, I can dodge to the side, and then I destroyed him.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm glad they went this way with it because I was worried that they were just going to go Dying Light with it, like another Dying Light, but with Dead Island's name on it. Like, I like it's kind of goofy.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
What else? And then the last one I have on my list is I played the prequel game to Road 96, which was I talked about it a little while ago. That is a roguelike visual novel game that I was
Right.
pretty
Yeah.
into.
Yeah.
It was on Game Pass. I don't know if it's still on Game Pass. They're doing a prequel one called Road 96 Miles Zero, which I played 2 stages, and the stages were basically Sayonara Wild Hearts
Okay.
in terms of the gameplay, which is way different because before it was visual novel and there was a little bit of like walking around the area and then talking to people. And I was talking to one of the developers, and there is going to be those walking around sections as well, but now you're going into like people's minds and you're doing like these skateboard areas with like crazy rock and punk music, and those play exactly like Sayonara Wild Hearts. So they're mixing up the genre a little bit, but it seems cool, and so I'm looking forward to that.
Cool. Sounds neat.
Yeah, I played a bunch of other stuff. I can't remember them all right now. Trying to think if there was any like cool highlights from PAX. I saw a group of Mandalorian cosplayers, but
Okay.
each Mandalorian was themed after an EV evolution.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was pretty good. So there was like, like a Flareon
Yeah.
Mandalorian, a Vaporeon, Jolteon. So that was pretty cool. That's probably my favorite cosplay I saw. Um, okay, and then this was just one thing that was kind of in my head the whole time. Anyone that self-describes himself as a super fan, I don't get it.
Okay.
Like, there are people that go to conventions that are like almost frothing at the mouth. They're so excited for like whatever they're watching and stuff. Like, I'll be at a like I can't think,
Yeah.
me personally, I can't think of anything that would make me that excited.
Okay. So I'm halfway with you. There are things that I get excited about when I see them, but not just because they are a thing. If that makes sense. Like, let's say Final Fantasy, for instance. You were talking about that one girl who, anytime like Final Fantasy was mentioned,
Yeah,
she would
yeah, yeah,
flip
yeah,
out.
yeah.
That
Yes.
that isn't me. But if I see something dope right in front of me, like the gameplay thing, I'll be like, "Oh, that's fucking awesome," and then that'll get me excited.
Like, here's another Final Fantasy example. There was a Final Fantasy
Okay.
16 panel. I didn't go to it, but like
Okay. Yeah.
I saw a lot of people afterwards with like tote bags. Anyone who went to the panel got this big tote bag that had like
Okay.
some Final Fantasy 16 art on it. And all I could think was, what are you gonna do with that? You're not gonna go to like the grocery store and use it to like buy your groceries. There's no way you're gonna do that. Like, and I'm talking
Yeah.
this. It's the size of a tote bag that they had to design it so you could wear it like a backpack.
Oh,
That's how big
wow.
it was.
Okay. Sure.
At GDC, there was another bag that like this one booth was giving away. It wasn't even game related. It was just whatever the booth's brand was. Bright purple. It was so big you had to wear it like a backpack, but it was like cape sized. And I saw people walking around, and all I could think is like, what are you going to do with that? There is no way you're gonna like go anywhere and fill that bag up. It's the size of a cape.
Yeah.
Why did you want this? I really do not understand people's fascinations at conventions for free merch. Like,
Okay.
this is one that really
Yeah.
irked me. I was at I can't remember the publisher. They're publishing Coffee Talk 2,
Okay.
and they just did Space for the Unbound. So they do a lot of visual novels.
Okay.
And they
Yeah.
had some promotion going on that it's like if you play like 3 of their games out of like the 9 they have on display there, and you got like a stamp on your card, you'll get something. I don't remember what it was. I didn't read too much into it because I did not care.
Right.
But they had one game that I hadn't seen before, and I was like, oh, I'll get in line for that. And there's like one person in front of me. The person finishes, I sit down for the demo, I'm starting to read. It's a visual novel, right? It's a slow game, it's a lot of reading. Someone sits down beside me. I don't remember which game they were playing. Another visual novel. Oh, they were playing the new Varney, um, the Pulp Fiction ones that they just did the Wolfman. Now they're doing Varney Lake. So it's a visual novel. Sits beside me. Dude is buttoning through it as fast as he possibly can. All I can think is like, there's no way you're reading that fast. And then I realize, oh, you're just getting through the demo so you can get a stamp. Guy
Sure.
finishes demo
Yeah.
way before me, even though he came in after me. Girl sits down, does the exact same thing. And then I also realized that's why when I got there and I asked the girl in front of me, I was like, "Oh, are you in line for a specific one? I don't want to cut in front of you." She's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna play any of them." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." No, she just didn't care.
I'm gonna play any of them.
And part of me, that just bugged part of me. I was like, these are good games. And
yeah, I don't think, for me personally, like I would probably skip. I don't want to play a story centric thing on the floor. Like I don't want to sit there and read and stuff. I would flip through all of that stuff to see mechanically if I liked the gameplay loop and then be okay with that.
But there's the idea of like, I'm gonna rip through your demo so I can get whatever the free merch is.
Yeah.
And all I can think to myself is, the merch is free because it's actual garbage. If it wasn't actual garbage, they would be charging for it.
Sure.
There's a media hour. If you have a media badge, if you're part of press, you get to go in an hour early at PAX.
Yeah.
So there was a group of press waiting at the press entrance to go in. And some booth people come by and they're like, "Hey, we're from," and I can't remember what it was. "We're giving out these free lanyards that have like a map of the show floor on them. And if you scan the QR code, you get the chance to get a pin." So these press people lost their minds over these lanyard maps. Lost their goddamn mind. And all I could think was like,
that's interesting.
Aren't you guys like actually like, I know getting a press pass at PAX is pretty easy. I've used the podcast in the past to do it.
Yeah, I've done it too. Yeah.
You should be at least like one level above the like typical public in terms of professionalism, right? And you're losing your goddamn mind over a lanyard and the chance to get a pin. You don't even know what the pin looks like.
Listen,
you have no idea. You just know there's a pin.
I ain't gonna hate on it. I have a like handheld back there with a bunch of pins I've been collecting since I was a kid. Like I ain't gonna yuck somebody's yum when it comes to pins. All right, I'm not that guy. But I will say, it does seem weird that people there on a press pass got that excited about a QR code lanyard. That seems weird.
I don't know. I don't know. And maybe I've been to like a bunch of conventions now where it's like, I don't want any merch ever unless it is like something really unique.
The first like one or two you do, like I definitely understand, like I want like a memento of this thing. I get it for sure, but yeah, for sure.
Anyway, those are just some things where I just kept like rolling my eyes, like, what are you guys doing? Like, stop it. Please stop it. Just be cool.
Yeah. I mean, you're preaching in the choir here. I don't like conventions, and like I'm done with that part of my life. I hate them.
Conventions. I hate them. But...
So okay, I get it.
That was my week. Let's do some news. We have some news to get through.
Okay.
First off, did you watch the Zelda 10 minutes of footage?
No, I couldn't care less.
Oh, are you not going to play Zelda?
I'm absolutely going to play Zelda. I couldn't care less about them showing video of it though.
I watched it. I was hoping you or John had there's anything highlighted, but it looks like we're gonna watch a lot of like weird vehicles getting made and posted to Twitter coming up. Absolutely.
Sure. That makes sense. In Breath of the Wild, there were so many Twitter videos and stuff of people doing weird physics stuff. So this is kind of the new gimmick, I'm guessing, of like the combining and fusing things or whatever.
Yeah. I'm a little bummed because that's something I'm super not interested in.
Yeah, fair.
And that's just me as a gamer. Like I don't even, I don't really like sandbox style games. So I'm hoping I can get by a lot of the stuff with like minimal effort because I don't get a ton of enjoy out of like, make your like. Let me use Lego as an example. I don't make my own Lego stuff. I follow the instructions, and I like that.
Something came up about like that Lego 2K game coming out soon or whatever.
The racing one?
Yeah, and that is kind of something I thought was like, I kind of like the idea of making my own cart and stuff. I'm the guy who likes Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts because I hate those games, but I like that one. So like, I like that sort of thing.
Sure. In other weird news, out of nowhere, Multiverses just like went offline. Yeah. And it is coming back in 2024.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought it was just gone. Yep. Okay.
No, because they didn't like super advertise this, but it was in the corner. That was just the beta that we've all been playing.
Right.
And that they were taking battle pass money for and cosmetic money for.
It's disgusting.
It is kind of weird. Like they're not offering any kind of refunds, which I guess like sure we did get something for that money. We did buy the battle pass. Everything we unlocked better still be there.
Sure.
Otherwise, that would be pretty messed up.
Yep.
But just hearing that 2024, like it's so far off.
It is. I don't understand what they're doing with it, because I thought people generally like that thing, except for balance changes that they obviously needed to do.
It did seem like interest in this had like fallen off like a cliff faster than like anything else.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
maybe they're hoping if they go away for a bit, they can have like a big kind of relaunch second wave, as opposed to just slowly drip feeding new content for the next 6 months, which probably would not bring many people back. So maybe it's just kind of a marketing like ploy.
Could be. Mr. Silvermoon, as they say in the chat there, I'd sue if stuff I paid for was suddenly taken away like that. Class action lawsuit? Do we see something like that? I guess we have to see what they do.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they didn't give you the stuff back. It's not like they were giving you that great of stuff anyways. I still remember one of the last news stories around multiverses was when they increased everyone's level. They made it harder for people to level up their characters. They didn't make more unlocks, they just made it harder to do.
Yeah.
Cool, thanks.
I remember you talking about their battle pass thing and how gross it was too.
Yeah. That second battle pass was such horseshit.
Yeah.
All right, this next handful of stories are all E3 related, and I have them here in chronological order. So
okay.
You'll probably see where we're going.
Oh, okay.
Starting off the week, Sega and Tencent decided they are skipping out on E3 2023.
That makes some sort of sense to me, but yeah, okay.
Sure. Following that, Ubisoft backed out of E3 2023. I think that's a pretty big one. Ubisoft will show up for just about anything. You launch a new console, Ubisoft's there with at least 2 games.
Yeah. This one to me, like, I know where we're going with this because I see like the list of things you have here. This one to me in a vacuum says Ubisoft is just dying though, because they haven't really been doing anything for a while.
That. They have a lot of games.
I hope they die.
In fact, we've talked on this exact show. There's like 7 Assassin's Creed games coming.
Yeah, because they need money. Like nothing else is happening. That's why I'm like, I could see it. They don't want to pay fees or whatever. They probably don't have anything big to show. Ubisoft doesn't scare me yet about the E3 thing yet.
The company will instead hold its own Ubisoft Forward live event on June 12th in Los Angeles. So it's basically E3 window that's happening.
That part is weird. In Los Angeles, in the E3 window, but they're not showing up. Yeah, okay. Anyways.
And then earlier today, E3 has been canceled.
Yeah. So
IGN had the scoop. Go ahead.
E3 was probably the writing was probably on the wall, which is why the other companies officially said that they're not showing up, right? Because they're not going to put down the money ahead of time for something that might not happen.
Right. Well, because we had been seeing and hearing the reports that tons of people were skipping out on it.
Yeah.
I think like every console manufacturer was saying, no, we're good.
The big 3
and so
were gone first. Yeah.
The big 3 had gone. And it just started making this question of like, if no one's going, then why would the public even want to go? And I have a feeling, all these companies just looked at it and like, it is making no sense for us to show up if no one's going to be there. Like,
yeah.
And I have a feeling enough of them dropped out that E3 was like, well, if no one's coming, we can't have an event.
Yeah.
And they probably had to make the call by the end of this month is what I'm assuming, because then we're just over 2 months away. So I bet there was like a deadline of like, we need to have a decision by the end of March, because then we need to use April and May to plan and put it together.
Yep.
No word on future plans for 2024. I'm a little I guess I'm bummed for a number of reasons. The first one and foremost, this was the first one I got like a media invite to. Like I finally had a for sure you are going to E3.
Right.
Bucket list item checked. Here we go. And now the idea of like, I don't even know if there's going to be an E3 ever again. I will never get to check that bucket list item.
Sure. Yeah, that's a bummer.
That is a bummer. Like, I just wanted to do it once because like I grew up watching E3 and getting excited for E3. It is video game Christmas, but
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
um, the other part is like what Reed Pop. I was curious to see what they were gonna do with it. They didn't even get like the chance to do something with it after coming in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, there's no real word on if this was just like they were doing a poor job and people pulled out, or if it was more just kind of the economics of the running the show and it wasn't worthwhile. So Reed Pop's like, we can't do it without them. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Quote here: the email said that while E3 remains a beloved event and brand, that the 2023 vision simply did not garner the sustained interest necessary to execute it in a way that would showcase the size, strength, and impact of the industry. So it does kind of sound like with people leaving, Reed Pop had nothing to do.
It also kind of says that maybe E3 is just dead forever at this point.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
I saw like 30 seconds after the news broke, Jeff Keighley tweeted, "Summer Games Fest is still happening."
I love it. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I mean, I have a press invite for that one again. So I will get to go to that one again. And that event was really awesome last year. I'm not sure if you know, but I interviewed Jeff Keighley at that event last
You
year.
did? Man, if only there was a way I could see how that went. But I guess there's not.
It went pretty good.
I wish I was able to see.
That was a cool event. That was not even a public one. So it was super chill and fun, and they gave us free food and ice cream. And yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite events I've been to. So but I was excited. Like I was excited because I had an invite to both, and I was trying to figure out like, oh man, they're like 2 weekends apart. Do I like go down there and drive back and then go down again, or do I go down there and stay for the whole like 8 days? Like how do I get this done?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still trying to figure out because now there's all these like satellite events, and if I get invited to those, it's like, oh, I should attend. What can I do? What can I do? Because I believe Xbox has something down there. It sounds like Ubisoft has something down there, and then yeah, Jeff Keighley has his thing down there. We'll see. But I'll at least be going for Summer Game Fest once again. So
cool.
And then we got some Game Pass news. So earlier this week, the long-running $1 trial promotion for Game Pass, where you can convert all of your gold, all the months you have stored up to Game Pass for $1, has been gone. It just quietly went away, and they're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
And then like 20, 30 minutes ago, the Xbox Game Pass Friends and Family program, which we've been talking about being in other countries around the world for a few months now, is now finally in the US.
Right. For $40, right?
$40 a month, can be shared 5 people. So I think money-wise, you would need 3 people buy-in for it to like pay for itself. If it's just 2 of you, it's cheaper if you get individual ones because it's $15 if you're including PC in there as well.
Right. I was going to ask you. Sorry, I pulled up the thing here to just check. Is this Game Pass like Ultimate PC and Xbox, or is it just Xbox for like the month?
I'm looking up the screen. Ultimate benefits shared among 5 friends and family. So if they're using the word ultimate, yeah, it says play same time on cloud, PC, and console.
If you have other people, if you do have 4 other people go in, like friends or family or whatever,
even if you have 2 other people, it's
half the price.
It's $5 cheaper. It's 15 each, right? It should be 45.
Is it 45? Oh, okay.
15 times 3 would be 45 versus...
No, I mean, it's $8. Like, it's 40 divided by 5. If you have 5 people, is $8, which is half the price.
And what I'm saying is if you only have 2 other people, it is still paying for itself because it's $5 cheaper than 3 individual ones.
Yeah.
It's not cheaper if there's only 2 of you doing it.
Sure. I mean,
so hey,
it's
good for them.
Yeah.
It's great. Like, Game Pass did not have to do that. In a world where we're sure Game Pass is going to be getting more expensive, here's an option for it to be cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got 2 friends. I've got more than 2 friends.
Yeah. I don't like going in on those things with people, I will say. Like, I'll actually pay more to not have to deal with any weirdness. But this is, for people that don't care, this is great.
Yeah, I mean, it does put a bit of precedent on, like, do you want to be the person that has to, like, text them each month, hey, you need to send me your $8?
Right.
Like, I'm at a point in my life where it's like I don't want to do that, but like as a kid, I absolutely would have done that. Like
actually,
no joke.
The way this like works out okay is if like we did it with the podcast for the 3 of us or something, like that works out. Because
I guess we already send money around quite a bit, so we could just figure it out there if we wanted to.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, but like I don't want to be the guy just being like, "Hey, you owe me $8."
Yeah, that's the thing is like at what point I mean that's just kind of like a social thing is like what level of money is it now it's not weird to just like I'll just eat the cost. Like no. So let me ask you that as an actual question. At what point do you feel okay about like reminding the person?
$100 and up probably.
Oh,
but like,
wow.
But like also I won't get into if there's a thing
really?
where
If someone owes you $50, you're not going to remind them?
Probably not. But nobody's going to owe me $50 because I'm not going to pay for somebody unless I don't feel like I'm not going to get it back. Because I don't like money getting in relationships like that. I think it's weird. I don't like it. So I don't do it.
I think $30 I would remind someone.
Okay. I will say there have been times where it's like, hey, I got pizza last time, you got this, right? Like, so sure. That I'm okay with, but like I won't just ask people for money because I'm not going to give money that I expect to get back, usually, personally. It causes issues.
People are saying do it like the Nintendo Switch Online service and ask for the year.
That would be great. Yeah. I would love to be able to pay them for the year.
Yeah, I don't know if Game Pass does a year one, or I think
they don't.
Even now they don't do a year. I doubt they're gonna do a year for this one as well. But
they should like give me like $10 off if I buy 12 months or something. Like I'll do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, makes sense. Hey, did you know on our Patreon that you can get annual, yearly memberships, and you do get a discount? Now that just popped into my head since we're talking about it.
I actually didn't know that, but yeah. So I'm glad you told me. Yeah,
there you go. All right, last little one. The BAFTA Game Awards in the UK happened, and Game of the Year went to Vampire Survivors, and that's new. That's newsworthy.
Okay, good for them. Why not?
Kind of surprised to see it.
Yeah,
because usually that spot is reserved for Elden Ring.
Yeah.
True. If not God of War, if Elden Ring is maybe busy that weekend. But Vampire Survivors absolutely deserves it. That game's great.
I get it. It created a new genre that a lot of people ape the style of. So why not?
Yep, absolutely. Well, that's how genres work.
Yes.
All right, let's do some questions. If you would like to send a question in, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. Paul, do you want to start us off?
We should do episode titles next week with John, I think.
Okay.
We're also running a little late, but I always like doing I like all 3 of us being here for that if we can.
Sure, yeah.
And if we can't next week for whatever reason, then we'll do it anyway.
I will read this first one. Oh man, a Hy-Vey? I'm going to say a Hy-Vey. That's about it. We recently saw Link glue a rock to a shield. That was another thing in the gameplay. You can like attach stuff to other things now, to your weapons and your shields and whatnot, and it'll do special effects.
Sure.
What wild, crazy pen, pineapple, apple pen monstrosities do you wish can be made in Tears of the Kingdom?
I mean, I want to be able to put bombs on anything. Could I put a bomb on a tree trunk that I hit with like the mallet really hard in Ganon's castle and just get like the one shot on him or something? Like,
I don't know about that. I mean, it's hard to say because we only got like 5 different examples, but you could probably put like a bomb on a sword and then do like an explosive swing attack on somebody.
Could I put bombs on a shield in 4 different corners so that they act like wheels and like use it like a skateboard and then explode them to do some cool air moves?
Well, I don't think I don't know. I know you could probably put a bomb on your shield and then when someone like hits your shield, they'll explode.
Or like a shield bash. An explosive shield bash would be kind of sick, honestly.
Yeah, I bet you could do that. One thing that they showed that was pretty kind of out of the box thinking is because you know how you get like creature parts in Zelda? They put like an eyeball on an arrow. So when they shot the arrow, it did a homing attack onto a bat.
Okay, that's cute. That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Can you put eyes all over your tunic so that people or enemies look at you and they're like, oh my god, and they just run away?
I don't think. I'm assuming you can't put it on the clothes. I
Right.
would assume not. But they put like a mushroom. It was called some kind of like some kind of exploding mushroom thing that went on the shield. So when Link blocked an attack, it made like a smoke bomb,
That's
and
cool.
then he was able to like get on the enemy.
I like it. I like that idea. That's cool.
I think Ace Veer in the chat has it. I just want a way to build like a double jump.
Yeah.
Whether it's me like doing some kind of like fan attack towards the ground during a jump, give me that double jump.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty good. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's there. It seems like there's so many weird scenarios. Who knows what you're gonna be able to do, man?
Can you make like a rocket pack or something? Like by putting what's something that causes thrust on like a glider or something? Like could you make
Yeah. So they showed making some vehicle stuff. There are like these they look like portable fans,
Okay,
and he like
perfect.
attached it to the boat so that he could propel the boat across. He attached it. He attached four of them to just like basically just like a square wooden plank so that he could just like fly upwards.
Can you put a fan underneath the glider and basically become Kite Man? Can we do that? Just
I don't think you're gonna. I mean, maybe if you just held the fan, it would do something. But it seemed
mm,
like you had to attach the fan to an object, and then the fan would affect that object, and you couldn't attach it to yourself.
I just want to be Kite Man. That's really it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you already have the glider, but
And
yeah,
you're
you have
already
no way to
green,
like.
or could be green, I guess. Link.
I guess depending on what you're wearing.
Yeah. Jerichos writes in the most recent podcast, Paul read the news that Frog Gun is getting a sequel. When this was read, the reaction was essentially already. Didn't Frog Gun just come out? I was extremely confused because my first thought is, what do you mean already? That game came out almost 10 years ago. That's when I realized I was thinking of Kero Blaster, the game by Daisuke Amaya with coincidentally similar name. Can you think of other games that have similar names, but nothing else tying them together? I'm going to take away Outer Wilds and Worlds right away, so what else do we got?
I didn't think of that. Hang on.
Okay.
Caro Blaster and Frog Gun have similar names.
They do not at all. Nope.
Yeah, we're I kind of lost a bit of a disconnect there. What?
Yeah, no.
Is Caro like
It's
'cause I could
Frog.
see Blaster and Gun. Is Caro Frog?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so like from a definition, they sound similar, but in terms of the actual words, they are not that similar. I get it. Okay. Because yeah, the example you did, it was like Outer Worlds and Outer Wilds are very similar, and in the chat, Atomic Heart, Wild Hearts, that actually did screw me up
Yeah.
because they came out so close together. I wasn't sure. It was like, wait, which was the Game Pass one?
Right. That's a good one. Um, what other ones are there?
And I'm having a hard time. Worlds and Wilds, I don't think we're gonna be able to beat that because those came out in the same year, I believe. So
Yeah. Really similar names, nothing else tying them together. Oh my god. Uh Battleborn and Bloodborne are similar.
sure.
There was a
Okay.
bunch of weird like combination of the word battle and blood games that were coming
And
out.
well, and then there's also like the running joke of like, they just throw some darts to the wall. You have to have Storm in there, Battle. I remember Storm just kept coming up. I can't remember what all the other ones were, but it was like this sounds extremely generic with this name.
Yeah, like Bulletstorm. Yeah, Battle Right and Battleborn. There it is.
I don't even remember Battleborn. I need to open up like Bing AI and say, make me a thing. Okay, I googled generic video game name, and
Uh-huh.
someone made a generic video game name generator. So take the first letter of your first name.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so P for
P,
you. So that's North.
North.
The last letter of your first name.
L.
bound,
Okay.
and then the subtitle, first letter of your surname,
F.
return of,
Okay.
last letter of your surname,
K.
the hunt.
Return of the Hunt.
So you're northbound, return of the hunt.
My
And
God.
then mine would be war, blood.
War Blood.
War, that's terrible. War, blood. And then the first one is blood and.
Blood and War. Please let it be.
No, it's pretty good. Okay, so the whole thing is war, blood and the dead.
Blood and the Dead. Man, what if it was War Blood,
That's-
Blood and the War or something? That would be so fucking good.
I'm gonna see. It could have been if my last name ended with a B. It could have been blood and war.
Oh, that would be so good.
I'm not logged into Twitch, but if you want to put this in the chat for other people to play around with.
Oh, a link? Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Next question from Suku. Blast from the past question. First asked on November 2011 by Michael. What do you think are some extremely underrated first-party Nintendo franchises?
Underrated? Okay. I mean, I really, really like F-Zero, obviously.
Okay, now, well, so here's my question.
Yeah.
Because F-Zero is the poster child here.
Uh-huh.
Underrated in terms of whose opinion? Because I hear
Yeah.
people claiming for a new F-Zero all the time.
Yeah, like on this podcast alone, two of us are all the time. So
Right.
I get it.
Whereas I'm over here being like, just play Wipeout. What are you guys doing? Come on. Like, just play some Wipeout.
Wipeout's very good, too.
It is. Or play Redout, the new one. It
Yep.
is like the people from Wipeout.
Underrated first party Nintendo. It's funny because I pulled this question earlier in the week and like put the spoiler tags on it, but I don't actually remember anything that was said here.
I bet we said F-Zero in the past.
I'm sure you guys did.
Beautiful Joe.
Okay. I don't love Beautiful Joe, but it's definitely underrated, probably.
I'm trying to think some franchise that just like completely left behind because a lot of they kind of keep hitting the same ones a bunch.
Yeah.
I guess they haven't done like a Wario Land in a while.
Sure, that would be good. A Wario something.
Over to WarioWare. I think it would be cool if they just did like a Super Mario Land 3, and like a real Super Mario Land.
I had to look up a list of franchises or whatever just to get
Mario
some
Land
ideas.
3 is Wario Land, but I want like an actual Super Mario Land.
Yeah. Do you think Star Fox is underrated, or just they haven't done anything with it? Because I think a lot of people talk that franchise up.
They keep putting one out on like each platform.
I guess, and it never does well, really, for them.
No, I don't think it does really well. That's the question is like, anytime they veer away from it, people just like complain.
Yeah.
So they just like go back to 64 once again, and then a lot of people are like, these games are short. Because they're like roguelikes before roguelikes were a thing, really. They're meant to like play over and over again. Although I did like Assault. Like I remember enjoying Assault quite a bit.
I'm just gonna look at what answers were given here.
Okay, what do we got?
Fire Emblem. Wait, okay. I guess we should say this was asked 13 years ago or 12 years ago.
Yeah, 2011.
2011.
To be fair though, by 2011 we had at least 2 Fire Emblem games on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, here's a good answer. Golden Sun.
Yeah, that is a good answer. Yep. Okay. So I don't think any of these count, which is kind of part of their second question with this. But what were said before was Fire Emblem, Kirby, Pikmin, Animal Crossing, Picross, Rhythm Heaven. Yes, 100% Rhythm Heaven.
Absolutely Rhythm Heaven. Yeah, absolutely Heaven.
F-Zero, like I said, and Star Fox were answers before. They've done a lot with a lot of these since then.
Yeah. Some of these I could still kind of see, because I think we were more looking at the question of which ones is Nintendo kind of ignoring. Some of these are definitely still underrated. Like, people do not hold some of I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about Pikmin in the highest of regards.
Sure, but by now they're up to 4, so like it's not
Now
as
they're up
bad.
to 4.
Yeah,
It has its own AR game on mobile.
Exactly. Like all of these have definitely increased, except really F-Zero and Rhythm Heaven.
At this point, Rhythm Heaven 2011. So I don't think Fever had come out yet. It should be really soon though. That should be in a year or two. And then Rhythm Heaven got that like compilation one a few years back. So it's only had like 2 since then.
Yeah. Criminally underrated, honestly.
Absolutely. Rhythm Heaven is one of my favorite Nintendo franchises for sure. Kirby, I don't know how we would have said Kirby. Kirby gets like 3 games every platform.
Yeah, I don't agree with that answer, even back then. F-Zero.
Again, Animal Crossing, like by this point, Animal Crossing DS had come out, which was a pretty big one. Animal Crossing on the Wii had also come out.
So 2011.
And there wasn't one on the Wii U unless you count that like board game thing.
So
we're only missing. Oh, the 3DS one would have not come out yet. So we're only missing 2 Animal Crossing. I don't know. Animal Crossing is huge.
By then, Animal Crossing only had Animal Crossing World and City Folk. Because the year after this question is when New Leaf came out.
Right. So it's had 3 of the 5 had come out, right?
Yeah. So after that was New Leaf. I'm going to count the smaller ones here too, I guess. Plaza, Happy Home Designer, Amiibo Festival, Pocket Camp, and then New Horizons.
So that's only 2 main ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like Animal Crossing was always kind of big, but then again, maybe it just got bigger.
It got bigger, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because, back at this point, who would I have been hanging out with? Not a lot of Animal Crossing fans.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's also kind of a weird question because it's like underrated. Back in 2011, like social media existed, but we weren't on it as much. And so like our circles were still very much the people we talk to in everyday life. And if you don't talk to people that play these games, they're like all underrated technically to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then Fire Emblem. Yeah, this was pre-Awakening. Awakening came out the year after. And
Awakening was the big one that opened the floodgates.
I would say Awakening is the one. Yeah. So that no longer counts, but that definitely did back then, I would say.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Next question from Dead. A genie offers you a deal next quarter, April to June. The genie is willing to produce 1 game each month, guaranteed as one of your top 10 favorite games of all time if you played it. Here's the catch. They wouldn't be detected by your current gaming radar. They would still be talked about by news sites, gaming circles, or friends at least once by the end of Q3, end of September. But without this deal, you wouldn't have given playing them much thought. The genie has given you the credit card, finance. Okay, so none of that stuff. Okay. Do you take the deal where every month there is a top 10 favorite game of all time, but you basically might not see it or likely won't see it?
Well, there is a punishment for failing to find and play at least one of these games before the year ends.
I mean, I would probably take it because I feel like my net is pretty wide in finding a lot of stuff, so I would probably find one of these.
I'm trying to think. I don't even know what my gaming radar is if it's not news sites, gaming circles, or friends. That's how I pretty much find all my games.
Oh, really? The way I find my games is that I literally go on Steam and will spend hours looking at every new release to see if there's anything good.
That sounds like psychopath behavior. That seems like a way to go actually insane.
I found a lot of good stuff doing it, so.
No, mine is like, stuff pops up on Twitter, and it's like, oh, someone else was talking about this, or the podcasts I listen to, which I would just include those as like gaming circles.
Yeah, I don't listen to other game
and news sites.
podcasts. And I stopped using socials. Like a lot of like the mainstream-ish stuff is from this podcast, us talking to each other, that I learn about that isn't weird indie shit.
Sure. I don't really. So the downside is that if we somehow miss it, there's a punishment. This doesn't. I feel like I wouldn't miss it. So yeah, I'll take 10 of my all-time favorite games. It doesn't seem like there's enough of a negative to for a would you rather.
Yeah, because like if one of these is released every month and you only have to find one for the first, I guess, by the end of Q3. Okay, that's a little bit more of a tight crunch, but I still think I would do it. I still think I could find one.
And you need to play. Mm-hmm. Oh, you have to find and play at least one of the games. Oh, then yeah, no, you're good.
So what is
to play all 10?
What is the punishment? Failure to meet these requirements means no game released for the rest of the decade will be a top 10 game of all time.
I'm also fine with that.
Yeah, like, I'm also fine with that too.
It is rare that I get a new game that is a top 10 game of all time. But that's fine. Because at this point in my life, cracking my top 10 games of all time is going to be very difficult.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the last game for me that like all time did. I mean, it was Elden Ring, right?
I was gonna say Elden Ring probably cracked it for me, but that's the thing is like if I went into my life being like, I'm never gonna play a top 10 game of all time for me ever again. It's okay because there's a lot of good games that aren't a top 10 game for me.
For sure.
Like I'm not. Yeah, so it's okay if that doesn't happen, and it's rare and it should be rare that happens.
For sure. Yep. Agreed.
Phantom Aegis writes, what are your favorite versions of your favorite mythological figures? Example. Note, these aren't my favorites, but are just the first ones that come to mind. Kyogre, the Pokemon, is their favorite Leviathan.
Okay.
Amy from Okami is their favorite Japanese goddess of the sun. I couldn't name a single Japanese goddess of the sun.
Sure.
Sutek from Doctor Who is the favorite Egyptian god of war, chaos and storms. I don't think I'm going to have a great answer of this.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't think I think of mythological figures that often, but Hades comes to mind. Those are some pretty great versions of the Greek characters.
Those are great. Okay, whatever. I'm going to give you the simp like anime fan answer. I think Shiva from Final Fantasy is my favorite depiction of gods named Shiva. Just in stuff.
Like the Indian god?
Yeah, exactly. Shiva? Even though I don't know that she's based on that god, but
I don't know either.
They have the same name.
I guess they are both blue.
And they have the same name. So
I believe the Indian one has ice powers. Loki from like the MCU is my favorite version of Loki that I've seen.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I haven't seen many versions of Loki, but he is definitely the best.
But Tom Hiddleston is just so good.
Yeah. I really like Ragnarok's Thor. I'm a big fan of him.
Sure.
I really like their Odin too, just like the kind of creep, but I wouldn't say he's my favorite, so I guess that's not really an answer. Man, this is one I would have to like think pretty hard about.
Yeah, so. I don't have a great answer for this one off the top of my head.
Yeah. Comet Strider X writes, with the 3DS and Wii U eShops closing by the time this is read on the podcast, any favorite or worst memories of the devices to share?
I think I talked about it on our our WarioWare Gold episode, but trying to transfer all of my stuff off of my launch 3DS onto that 2DS I got was a nightmare.
Yeah. I really, really liked when the 3DS came out and you just had like a bunch of old games.
Street Pass? Oh.
Street Pass. Oh my god.
Street Pass is... Yeah. Street Pass is still so cool.
Street Pass is something special.
Like, and I remember like going to PAX and just being like, I'm finally just gonna get flooded with like Street Pass things. And you did. You would go back to your like every time you sat down, 10 more people. Let's go.
Loved
Like
it.
you would finish the day at your hotel being like, got 100 people, including like Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Yeah.
Or when they would send you them over the internet, like here's a Wada, and he has like special gold pants because the Nintendo people have gold pants or whatever it was.
Yeah. The Spot Pass, was it?
Spot Pass, yeah.
Spot
Or
Pass.
when they had 3DS games, like the dungeon crawling one where it's like you
Yeah.
gotta use your friends to like get like Street Pass was so cool, and there's just like nothing like it anymore.
I would I would love to have like an app like that or something on my phone.
I'm sure there is an app like that, and it's just nowhere near as cool because Nintendo didn't design it.
And like thousands of people aren't using it at the same time in the same place or whatever. Yeah. Just not as
Right,
cool.
yeah. Yeah. Honestly, Street Pass is probably like my favorite thing about it.
Yeah, Street Pass is definitely the best. One of the worst for me was finding out that the Wii U tablet, the thing I was kind of excited about that thing is that it like basically wouldn't work great in the next room over from the fucking TV. It's like, well, this sucks.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I had like any like really great moments. I mean, I like Game and Wario quite a bit, but that was just like a game.
Yeah.
I don't think, yeah. Most of my favorite like 3DS moments I keep thinking of are DS related. Like I don't think I have a favorite 3DS game. A lot of the ones that really stand out to me were DS games.
Yeah. I loved NES Remix on the Wii U as too. One
I
and two.
loved the Twitter account, like bad Miiverse posts.
Those were great too. Yep.
Those are so funny.
Yep.
I got a lot of enjoyment out of that Twitter account.
Yep.
I didn't spend much time on the Miiverse myself. Oh no, that's the Wii I was just about to say. There was like remember how the Wii had like bespoke channels that Nintendo was putting out, and it was like one was like a voting channel, and for whatever reason I was like I would come home from school and it's like, all right, time to load up today's poll, and it's like, what do you prefer, ketchup or mustard? And it's like, I like mustard. Cool, can't wait to do this again in 24 hours. Holy
Yep.
shit, I had so much fucking free time in high school.
Right?
There is no way I would do that now. But like as a kid, it was like, holy shit, every day I get a new poll. And I get to see like what percentage everyone in the world has voted on.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was a different time.
Yeah. Now and now that's like, as I'm saying it, that is the dumbest thing I could think of.
It's pretty great though.
Okay, Lineback. In light of the RE4 remake. Oh, we basically answered this. Would you want a remake? What would you want out of a remake of 6?
Yeah, a good single player experience that isn't weird and drawn out. Basically.
All right.
VGC Kenny writes, let's say the Mario movie is successful enough that Illumination unveils its next secret project, the Smash Bros. Cinematic Universe. The end of Phase 1 is going to be a fight against Master Hand. What other movies do you think would need to get made first? You need to get the Fire Emblem thing, because you need dudes with swords, because that's the whole experience of Smash Bros.
I don't think you do Fire Emblem at all. Absolutely not. I think you do like the main like 5, like you get Samus. There's a Metroid movie, so you need to get Samus in there.
And like Donkey Kong
There's
or something.
Well, Donkey Kong's gonna be in the Mario.
Yeah, he's
one.
in Mario. That's true. Yeah.
Zelda, you got to get Link in there.
Kirby, yeah, you definitely need
Kirby has to be in there, and then I think
another Pokemon that like ties it in somehow.
a Pokemon I could see. I was trying to think, like, do you get like another cutesy one? Like, do you try to get like Ness in there? But like Ness hasn't had a game in forever.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, what was like it's gonna be people from the core, like from the first N64 Smash Bros, right?
And like Ness, a movie with like Ness or any Earthbound characters or whatever would not be cutesy. It would be terrible, like terrifying, probably.
Yeah, I think you're right with like Pikachu.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you know what? They could do Star Fox.
They could do Star Fox. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. So it would absolutely be like those first, and then you start getting the more obscure ones. Fire Emblem would probably be like the equivalent of the Disney Plus shows. They'll do like a show with Fire Emblem.
Yeah. Yeah, that
they
makes
could
sense.
do it. Like Smash Bros is so huge, they could do it.
They could do it. What if you did like
then
a
again,
Fire Emblem CW type show, like Gotham Knights or something?
Oh, I like Fire Emblem. Why would you do that? I don't want that to happen.
Because it would be funny.
I mean, I'm sure there's a Fire Emblem anime that's already been done, so there's probably a show at one point. There's no way it hasn't been done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They've been trying to get like a Zelda show or movie for years. Even Netflix was going to do one, right? And that still has been quiet for like 4 years now. So who knows?
Yep.
Rasterman writes, "What's an athletic milestone you're proud of having accomplished? Do you think you'd be able to do it again? If none come to memory, do you have any in mind for the future? These milestones include lifting a certain amount of weights, scoring a goal touchdown, running a certain distance, or for X amount of time, among other similar genre."
Like proud of? We used to have to do a yearly like 5-kilometer run in elementary, and 1 year I actually did run the whole 5 kilometers, like not fast obviously, but slow, and that was kind of crazy because I don't think I've ever done that since.
Okay. So are you saying that would be a cool goal to have in the future?
Like honestly, even starting with like 1 to 2 or something, like half of that would be amazing, because the thing is that years of smoking also didn't help. Like there's a lot of things I've done in my body that would make getting there again really difficult.
Right.
Also, like we played soccer and stuff and we went to finals and shit. We didn't end up winning, unfortunately, but I've got goals and stuff and those are fine, but not for a long time.
I do lots of athletic stuff. A lot of my team sports things have kind of finished now for obvious reasons. But I recently did a powerlifting competition and hit a new record on my lift, so that was exciting. Although I was a little disappointed because I felt like I could have gone heavier. So I wish I had actually like hit my limit. So I'm going to be lifting more shortly. But yeah, I'm always like breaking my lifting records at the moment, and that's exciting, especially because like as I'm getting older, I know eventually I'm going to hit a point where I'm not going to be as strong, and I never will be as strong as like previous was.
Right. Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm just trying to like see like what I can get these numbers to before they start going down permanently.
Sure, makes sense. Final questions from Hebrew Lantern. What bucket list item do you most regret not achieving?
Going to E3?
I'm
pretty sure that was the genesis of this question.
Motherfucker.
Because this is also like a weirdly worded one, because like if it's a bucket list item, why can't you achieve it?
Right.
So something has to have happened to be like, no, you never have the chance to do it again, so E3 is not coming back.
Yeah, I don't have a bucket list item that I regret not achieving currently. I also don't have a bucket list. So
really, there's nothing on your bucket list that you that can't be right. Really?
Okay. Yeah, like what? Okay, what's something on yours?
Eat an entire like party sub by myself. I bring that up like once a month.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. No, I guess I don't have anything like that even. Like not even like kind of jokey.
To every What do you mean jokey? I am serious, sir.
I really think you could do that if you like wanted to.
I just need to find a place that'll make it at this point.
That would be hard.
And they can't just be cut up. They have to have the bread. It has to be comically long.
Yeah.
I want to go to every continent. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, see, stuff like that I don't want to do. There was like one place I did want to go and I went there.
Okay. Yeah, and then I have specific countries I want to go to, so I have lots of bucket list stuff. I'm a dreamer.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. That's it for questions. If you want to send in a question next week, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What's your game of the week?
Resident Evil 4.
And mine is Have a Nice Death.
Nice.
Thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back next week, and if you're a patron, hang around so we can talk about Metroid.
Bye.